Ever wondered why a click on a button sometimes triggers 3 different actions? Or why your event listener just refuses to fire? Mastering JavaScript events is the difference between a static page and a professional, interactive application. In this video, we will cover JavaScript events and event handling practice questions and detailed explanations. Master JavaScript event handling with this comprehensive practice exam. In this video, we dive deep into 30 comprehensive practice questions covering JavaScript events and event handling. From the basics of DOM level 0 to advanced event delegation, bubbling, and capturing, we've got you covered. Make sure to pause the video after each question. Try to solve it yourself, and then listen to our detailed breakdown. Which phase of the event flow occurs first when an event is triggered on a nested element? Option A, the bubbling phase. Option B, the target phase. Option C, the capturing phase. Option D, the bubbling capturing phase. The correct answer is C. The standard DOM event flow consists of 3 phases. 1. The capturing phase, from the window down to the target. 2. The target phase, at the actual element. And 3. The bubbling phase, back up to the window. Therefore, the capturing phase always occurs first as the event trickles down through the ancestors of the target element. Most event listeners are set to bubble by default, but the flow itself starts with capturing. What is the primary advantage of using addEventListener over the onClick property? Option A, it executes faster in modern browsers. Option B, it allows multiple listeners to be attached to the same event on the same element. Option C, it automatically prevents the default browser action. Option D, it can only be used with the capturing phase. The correct answer is B. Using element, onClick equals function overwrites any existing handler assigned to that property. In contrast, addEventListener allows you to attach multiple different functions to the same event type, e.g., 2 different functions for a click event, without them conflicting. This is crucial for modular code and third-party libraries. Which property of the event object refers to the element that the event listener is currently attached to? Option A, event, target. Option B, event, src element. Option C, event, current target. Option D, event, parent element. The correct answer is C. While event, target refers to the actual element where the event originated, the deepest element in the DOM tree. Event, current target refers to the element whose event listener is currently processing the event. During bubbling, as the event moves up, current target changes to the current ancestor processing the event, while target remains the original clicked element. What is the effect of calling event stop immediate propagation? Option A, it prevents the default action and stops bubbling. Option B, it stops the event from bubbling but allows other listeners on the same element to run. Option C, it stops the event from bubbling and prevents any other remaining listeners on the same element from being executed. Option D, it only prevents the capturing phase from starting. The correct answer is C. While StopPropagation stops the event from moving further up or down the DOM tree, Stop immediate propagation goes a step further. If multiple listeners are attached to the same event on the same element, calling this method will prevent all subsequent listeners on that specific element from executing. in addition to stopping the event flow to other elements. What is the main purpose of the event delegation pattern in JavaScript? Option A. To delegate event handling to a separate worker thread. Option B. To attach a single event listener to a parent element to manage events for multiple child elements. Option C. To ensure events only trigger during the capturing phase. Option D. To move all event logic into the HTML attributes. The correct answer is B. Event delegation leverages the fact that events bubble. Instead of adding individual listeners to every single child, which is memory intensive and problematic for dynamic elements, you add one listener to the parent. You then check event target to identify which child was clicked. This is efficient and works for children added to the DOM later. Which method is used to prevent the browser's default behavior, such as following a link or submitting a form? Option A. Event StopPropagation. Option B. Event halt. Option C. Event PreventDefault. Option D. Return true. The correct answer is C. The PreventDefault method of the event interface tells the user agent that if the event does not get explicitly handled, its default action should not be taken as it normally would. For example, it prevents a checkbox from being checked or a form from refreshing the page on submit. Which event triggers when the mouse pointer leaves an element and all of its descendants? Option A. Mouse out. Option B. Mouse leave. Option C. Mouse over. The correct answer is B. The mouse leave event is fired at the element when the cursor leaves the element. Crucially, mouse leave does not bubble, meaning it is only triggered when the mouse leaves the specific element it is bound to. Mouse out, on the other hand, bubbles and can be triggered when the mouse moves from an element to one of its children. In addEventListener, type listener options. What does the once true option do? Option A. The listener will only execute if the element is clicked once. Option B. The listener will be automatically removed after being invoked once. Option C. The event can only bubble once through the DOM tree. Option D. Only one event of this type can exist in the document. The correct answer is B. The once property in the options object is a Boolean value indicating that the listener should be invoked at most once after being added. If true, the listener would be automatically removed when invoked, which is a cleaner alternative to manually calling remove event listener inside the callback. Which property of the keyboard event object should be used to detect the physical key pressed, regardless of the user's keyboard layout? Option A. Event.key. Option B. Event keycode. Option C. Event code. Option D. Event which. The correct answer is C. The event code property represents a physical key on the keyboard, e.g., key Q. It does not change based on the keyboard layout or whether the shift key is pressed. Conversely, event.key provides the value of the character generated, e.g., Q or Q, which is dependent on the locale and modifier keys. How do you pass custom data when dispatching a custom event? Option A. By adding it as a second argument to the custom event constructor directly. Option B. by using the detail property within the options object of the custom event constructor. Option C, by attaching the data to the event target object. Option D, custom events cannot carry data. The correct answer is B. When creating a custom event using new custom event name, detail, my data, single quote, the detail property is the standardized way to pass custom information. This data can then be accessed in the event listener via event detail. Which property of the event object tells you which phase of propagation is currently being evaluated? Option A, event propagation phase. Option B, event current phase. Option C, event phase. Option D, event stage. The correct answer is C. The event phase property returns an integer that represents the current phase. 0 is none. 1 is capturing underscore phase. 2 is at underscore target. And 3 is bubbling underscore phase. This is useful for debugging complex nested event scenarios. Which event fires immediately when the value of an less than input greater than, less than select greater than, or less than text area greater than element is changed? Option A, change. Option B, input. Option C, submit. Option D, focus. The correct answer is B. The input event fires synchronously every time the value of the element changes. E.g., on every keystroke. The change event, however, usually fires only when the element loses focus, blur, after its value has been modified, or when an option is selected in a dropdown. Why would remove event listener fail to remove a previously added listener? Option A, if the listener was added as an anonymous function. Option B, if the event type is click. Option C, if the listener uses the capturing phase. Option D, if the event object was not passed to the remove function. The correct answer is A. To remove an event listener, you must pass the exact same function reference to remove event listener that was passed to addEventListener. Since an anonymous function like function opening curly bracket ... creates a new reference every time it is defined, there is no way to refer back to it for removal. What is the primary benefit of setting the passive option to true in an event listener? Option A, it allows the listener to run in the background. Option B, it improves scroll performance by telling the browser the listener will not call PreventDefault. Option C, it makes the event bubble faster. Option D, it prevents the event from being intercepted by other scripts. The correct answer is B. When passive true is used, the browser knows that the code inside the listener will not call PreventDefault. Single quote. This is specifically useful for touch and wheel events, allowing the browser to scroll the page immediately without waiting for the JavaScript execution to finish, significantly improving UI smoothness. Which of the following focus-related events does not bubble? Option A, focus in. Option B, focus out. Option C, focus. Option D, they all bubble. The correct answer is C. The focus and blur events do not bubble. If you need to detect focus on a parent element using delegation, you should use focus in and focus out. Which are the bubbling versions of focus and blur? Which event fires when the initial HTML document has been completely loaded and parsed, without waiting for style sheets and images? Option A, load. Option B, DOM content loaded. Option C, ready state change. Option D, complete. The correct answer is B. The DOM content loaded event is the ideal time to start manipulating the DOM. The load event on the window object, conversely, waits for the entire page, including all dependent resources like images, scripts, and CSS, to finish loading. Which property provides the horizontal coordinate of the mouse pointer relative to the whole document? Option A, ClientX. Option B, ScreenX. Option C, PageX. Option D, OffsetX. The correct answer is C. PageX provides the coordinate relative to the top left corner of the whole document, including scrolled parts. ClientX provides coordinates relative to the viewport, the visible part of the page, and ScreenX is relative to the user's monitor. When using event delegation, how can you ensure the click only processes for a specific button inside the container? Option A, check if event current target has the desired class. Option B, check if event target matches my button. Option C, use event StopPropagation on the button. Option D, attach the listener to the window object instead. The correct answer is B. Inside a delegated event listener, event target is the element that was actually clicked. Using the matches method or checking class list contains allows you to filter the events so your logic only runs when the specific target of interest is interacted with. Which event fires when a CSS transition has completed? Option A, transition start. Option B, transition end. Option C, animation end. Option D, CSS done. The correct answer is B. The transition end event is fired when a CSS transition has finished. If the transition is removed before completion, e.g., the transition property is changed, the event will not fire. In an inline event handler like less than button onClick equals handle click greater than, what is the value of this inside the handle click function? Non-strict mode. Option A, the button element. Option B, the event object. Option C, the window object. Option D, undefined. The correct answer is C. In an inline attribute, the code inside the attribute is wrapped in a function where this refers to the element. However, if that code calls another function like handle click, single quote, that function call is a plain function call, meaning this inside handle click will default to the global window object, or undefined in strict mode. Which event occurs when the window, the document, or an element has been resized? Option A, layout. Option B, resize. Option C, change. Option D, scroll. The correct answer is B. The resize event fires on the window object when the viewport dimensions change, because it can fire many times per second during a manual resize. It is common practice to debounce or throttle the handler for performance. How do you specify that an event listener should be executed during the capturing phase? Option A. Set the third argument of addEventListener to true. Option B. Use the method addCaptureListener. Option C. It is not possible to listen during the capturing phase. Option D. Set the event phase property to 1. The correct answer is A. The third parameter of addEventListener is either a Boolean useCapture or an options object. Passing true or capture true tells the browser to trigger the listener during the capturing phase rather than the default bubbling phase. To detect if the control key was held down during a click event, which property should you check? Option A. Event control. Option B. Event CTRL key. Option C. Event ISCTRL. Option D. Event modifiers. The correct answer is B. Mouse event and keyboard event objects both include Boolean properties like CTRL key, Shift key, Alt key, and Meta key. These allow you to check the state of modifier keys at the time the event occurred. How is the event object usually passed to an event handler registered via addEventListener? Option A. It must be retrieved from window event. Option B. It is passed as the first argument to the callback function. Option C. It is globally available as a variable named e. Option D. It is attached to the this keyword. The correct answer is B. When an event occurs, the browser creates an event object containing details about the event and passes it as the first argument to any registered event listener functions. Which modern API is recommended for observing changes to the DOM tree? Like adding, removing nodes, instead of the deprecated mutation events? Option A. DOM Observer. Option B. Mutation Observer. Option C. Change Observer. Option D. Node Watcher. The correct answer is B. Mutation Observer is the modern, performant replacement for mutation events. Like DOM node inserted, it allows you to watch for changes to the DOM tree, including attribute changes and child node additions, without the massive performance overhead of the old event-based system. Which event fires when the fragment identifier, the part of the URL after the hash, has changed? Option A. URL change. Option B. Hash change. Option C. Fragment change. Option D. Pop state. The correct answer is B. The hash change event is fired when the Windows hash changes. This is frequently used in single-page applications, SPAs, for simple routing or tracking user navigation within a page. Which event type is designed to handle mouse, touch, and stylus input with a single interface? Option A. Input events. Option B. Touch events. Option C. Pointer events. Option D. Hybrid events. The correct answer is C. Pointer events, like pointer down, pointer up, provide a unified way to handle input from any pointing device, mouse, pen, stylus, or touch. This simplifies development as you don't need to write separate logic for mouse down and touch start. Which method is used to manually trigger an event on an element from code? Option A. Element trigger event. Option B. element, dispatch event. Option C, element, fire event. Option D, element, emit. The correct answer is B. To manually trigger an event, you first create the event object using the event or custom event constructor, and then call element, dispatch event, event, single quote. This will trigger the listeners attached to that element as if the user had interacted with it. Where are global events like online and offline detecting connectivity typically listened for? Option A, document. Option B, document, body. Option C, window. Option D, navigator. The correct answer is C. While navigator, online, is a property used to check status, the events themselves, online and offline, are fired on the window object. This allows the application to respond immediately when the user loses or regains internet access. If you add an event listener to the window inside a component that gets destroyed, what is the best practice? Option A, do nothing. The browser cleans it up. Option B, manually remove the listener using Remove Event Listener to prevent memory leaks. Option C, use event StopPropagation to hide it. Option D, overwrite the window object. The correct answer is B. Event listeners attached to global objects like window or document are not automatically garbage collected when a specific UI component or element is removed from the DOM. If you don't remove them, they continue to live in memory and execute, potentially causing errors and memory leaks. That wraps up our 30-question deep dive into JavaScript events and event handling. How many did you get right? If you found this helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe for more technical deep dives. It really helps the channel grow. For the full 500+ question practice set and certification prep, check the link in the description below.